Welcome to Galaxy Advisors. The purpose of this video is to explain how to install MySQL on a PC. Again, it's a 5-step process to install Condor on a PC. You should have completed the first 3 steps, installing all the Microsoft high priority updates, installing the latest Java update, installing the Java 3D libraries. Now we come to the overall step 4, installing the MySQL server, which is probably one of the longest and more complicated of the steps. Then we finally just have installing the Condor software itself, and then finally Navicat. So again, start your browser, go to the URL here listed here, and then click the download button for the x86 32-bit MySI installer. If you do have a 64-bit machine, there is also a 64-bit installer available for MySQL. And then on step 4, you may skip the registration by clicking on the link "No thanks, just take me to the downloads." Step 5, pick a download mirror site and click the HTTP link. And then step 6, at the file download window, just simply click Save there. Step 7, create a folder to save the file. And then finally, click Save. A completed download message will appear after it's done. And then simply for step 8, click Run. Step 9, click Run again. And then step 10, click Next at the setup window. There in step 11, check the box I accept the terms. Then step 12, click Next. Then we're going to go through actually the install steps here, where we select several options. So the first one is to select Click Typical. And then in number 14, click Install. Number 15, you're going to click Next again. And 16, Next again. And then finally, on step 17, you're going to check Launch the MySQL Instance Configuration Wizard. And then step 18, you'll be clicking Finish. Step 19, click Next. And then note, if you already have a previous installation of MySQL, you will get this window asking you to select what instance to set up. Select the 5.525. That was the current version as of June 7th, 2012. Otherwise, just ignore this step. Most likely, most people don't have MySQL installed on their PCs. So that I just bring this up just in case there's a very few that might already have MySQL. Finally, step 20, click Next, and this is going to go through these series of selections that we're going to configure your MySQL instance. So this is the detailed configuration selected. Again, here, click Next. Here, developer machine, that should be bulleted. Just click Next at the bottom. Then a multifunctional database, that should be bulleted. Click Next. Then finally, click Next, accept the default location. Except at step 24, the decision support option. Click Next. Click Next to enable TCP port 3306 in strict mode here. Then click 26, and this is probably the most important step of everything that we have, is bullet select manual selected default character set and accept Latin 1. Very important that you have manual selected and that Latin 1 is in that window for the character set. And if so, then click Next. Step 28, click Install as a Windows service. Note, you accept the service name as MySQL. Again, if you have a previous installation, you might want to change it to MySQL 5525 or something else that would tell you about what new version you're installing. But for most people, you can just will accept the defaults. Click Launch the MySQL server automatically, and check the Include bin directly to Windows path, and then finally click Next. You could always stop the video here and just look at your machine and make sure you have all these correct options selected. Finally, step 32, uncheck Modify Security Settings if you do not want to set a password. Most people have a lot of passwords. You know, I found most of the difficulties, I forgot my password, I can't get back. If you forgot your password, you have to reinstall it. Often we would just say don't bother with a password here, or you can check modified security centers and enter a password, retype it, and remember, write this down. Make sure, because every time Condor starts, you'll have to enter this as the root password for the MySQL server. So again, we recommend not to have any password, and so then you have the modified security settings unchecked, and then just click next. So again, it's your personal preference. And then finally, step 35 is just click execute, and what that will do, that will execute all these choices that you've just went through. And at the very end, you'll see click finish. You'll have a little checkbox next to prepare configuration, write configuration file, start service, and so on. And so you should get this window that looks like the following. And then MySQL has been successfully installed. Congratulations. So to check that MySQL is running and Latin 1 is the default character set, click Start Programs, or depends on what version of Windows you have. Select MySQL and then the command line. And then a little DOS window. Believe it or not, DOS is still lurking there in Windows. Enter your password, and if you didn't pick one, just press return, and then type a \s at the command prompt there, as you see in the window. And once you do that, a window will come back and tell you about what are the current settings. And you should see Latin 1 set for the character set, the database, the client, and so on. And that's all the things, just to make sure the MySQL server, where all your data is stored in Condor, will go when you're successfully set up. So that will conclude the 4 steps to get Condor running. We're coming down to a very easy step of installing Condor itself. And then finally, we'll go through the process of installing Navicat, so you can see what your the database variables and fields are that are being stored.